For number 3, we were given with two options. Either you can bond at the price of $900 with the face value of 1,000, which pays 6% compounded semi-annually for 7 years. Or you can invest this $900 in a project which pays you 7.5% annual percentage rate compounded annually. The question is which option should be selected for investment. So first of all, you need to draw the cash flow diagram for these two options for investment. Then we can find the net present worth for these two and compare them. So for the bond, it matures in 7 years, but since it's compounded semi-annually, it means every 6 months you get paid by the interest. So the total periods of time is going to be 14, because we have 14 terms of receipts of the money. You pay $900 at present time, and at the end of period, which is 7 years, you get paid $1,000. Also, you get paid 6% annual percentage rate compounded semi-annually. So every 6 months, you get paid 1,000 times 6% per year, means per compounded term, you get paid 3%. 3% on the face value, it's going to be $30. So every 6 months, you get paid $30. And this is the cash flow diagram for the bond. So some of you, this problem had 15 points. If you draw this cash flow diagram, just this one correctly, you get 3 points. For the second one, which is the project, you deposit or you invested $900. After 7 years or 14 periods of time, you get paid future value equals to present value times F over P. Interest rate is 7.5% for 7 years, because it's compounded yearly. So I can use 7. So looking like it is 1292. And this is the cash flow diagram for the project. Now the question is, which one should be selected? The project or the bond? So we should find the net present worth for bond and net present worth for project, and then compare them. But I didn't provide any interest rate. That was the tricky part of this problem.
If we were used to use the formula for that, it would be 900 times 1.075 raised to the 7th, right?
1.075 power of 7, yes.
Yeah, so that's not 1292.
You are right. made a mistake here, I just noticed. I just 5, not 7. What's gonna be this?
1493.
Thank you. 1492. So you need to have interest rate to compare, to calculate cash flow diagram for, net present for bond and the project, and then compare them. If I ask you what would be net present loan for this project at interest rate of 7.5%, what would be your answer for this one? 0. Net present force at this is going to be 0 because 900 minus what would be the present value of 1493 at present time with this interest rate? It's going to be 900. So you will get 0. Now, if you calculate net present force of the bond with that interest rate and this is greater than 0, then you go with this because 0 is better. Anything greater than 0 is better than this. So it means if it happens, the bond is going to pay you more on net present force than the bond. Does it make sense?
So we have to make the assumption to calculate the bond interest using the interest from the investment.
Yes, you can do the vice versa. Use this one.
Or use that one over there.
Yes, that one is easier, so I'm just using that interest rate to find the net present force of the bond and compare with the 0. Is that clear? Yes.
So I think my biggest question is, I know I'm speaking definitely for myself here, and I'm pretty sure I'm speaking for other people, is that I don't think any of us were expecting a bond question, just because the material to study for it wasn't on Canvas. It was taught in the last class right before the test, and I think the last class before break, you told us that you taught everything that was going to be on the test.
If you look at the email that I sent you, I mentioned that everything from chapter 1 through chapter 5, including chapter 5, and the bond is part of that.
It may be part of it, but I don't think, I know when I was studying for the test, none of the bond stuff was on Canvas.
It's that, but it was on the video that I posted on Canvas as well. So if you could, you had access to the book, you had access to the video lectures that I posted on Canvas. So I agree that I made a mistake to post the last topic, which was about the bond in the class. So, but you had some other resources to study for that.
Some of us haven't been able to purchase the book due to reasons, so it definitely makes it a little more difficult.
But the video lecture is still there.
Just talking about this problem. So we wouldn't actually use the 3% to calculate any interest on the bond. We would use it to calculate the payment, but we wouldn't use it to calculate future values.
Back to the lecture that we covered in class. This interest rate is set by the company or the government or anyone who issued the bond. So we don't use it to find the net present force.
Gotcha.
We just use it to calculate how much we get paid.
Okay, yeah. So that table on the test was just...
Yeah, that was.
All right.
I put it there if someone wanted to use this and calculate it. But when I solving the problem, I noticed, okay, it's gonna be easier if we go hard. All right, when you want to find the net present force for this, the period of time is 6 months, per 6 months. That one is per year. So we need to find, we know that the I effective interest rate is going to be 1 plus I per 6 months power 2 minus 1. So if this one is 7.5%, what would be the interest rate per 6 months? So you have to calculate this. 7.5% equals to 1 plus I per 6 months. Power 2 minus 1. 1 plus I per 6 months is going to be 1 plus 0.075 squared. And then you can find I per 6 months equals to 3.68%. So 7.5% per year, it's equals to 3.68 compounded semi-annual. If you remember when we covered the bond, I said the bond, in the bond we can cover many things that we have taught in this class. Now, the last part is finding net present worth of bond. We have $900 at present time plus $30 for 14 periods of time. It's positive. We are looking for P when A is given. I is 3.68%, N is 14, plus 1,000 times P over F, 3.68, 14. Or you can use 7.5%, 7. For that $1,000, let's say. And you are going to use the equation for these two because you don't have the table, and you will get $26, 36.16. This part is gonna be showing you 23.7, and this part is gonna be 6.9. Negative 900, positive 32, 323, and positive 3.2. You will get positive 26. So it's greater than 0 compared to the project which has 0. You get to use the bond. Any question on this? I already posted the bond on the canvas, but I asked you to work on this example. But since you have some difficulties on the bond, I would like to work on this example as well. I cannot ask you any question difficult than this for the bond because it has everything. So there is a bond with the face value of 5,000, which matures in 20 years. face value is $5,000. The interest rate is 6%, compounded semi-annually. The price of the bond is $4,000. And MARR is 10%. Compounded annual. Market interest rate is 8%. Compounded annual, semi-annual. The question is, should we buy this bond or should we reject? So again, first draw the cash flow diagram for the bond. The life of the bond is 20 years, but since you get paid semi-annually, the seller of the bond set the interest rate compounded semi-annually. So you should use the period of time for every 6 months. So 20 times 2 is going to be 40. Time goes from 0 to 40. 20 years or 40 periods of time. So the price of the bond is $4,000. You get paid $5,000 20 years from now. And in the meantime, you will get paid every 6 months at this interest rate, 6%. 6% dividing by 2 is going to be 3% per 6 months. You can divide by 2 because it's compounded semi-annually, or you get paid semi-annually. If it compounded yearly, you couldn't divide by 2. So 5 face value times the interest rate. Every 6 months you get paid $150 for 40 periods of time. Now, we should find the net present worth of the bond. But the question is, which interest rate should we use to calculate the net present worth? 6%, 10%, or 8%?
10%?
We need 10%, but it needs to be per 6 months.
First of all, we should use 10%, no matter what would be the market interest rate, because you as investor expecting at least 10%. So you want to know the time value of the money for you is 10%, but in the market time value of the money is 8%. So we should use 10%, but as Carl said, it's compounded annually, we should change it to per 6 months. So I effective is 1 plus I per 6 months how many periods of time do we have in a year? 2 minus 1. So if the I effective is 10%, what would be this I? And after I find I per 6 months, I can find the net present worth of the bond. If it was positive, we go for that. If it's negative, we reject the investment of the bond. I guess I can skip that part. I'm ready for it. Any question on this? Is that clear?
What if you took the interest of the bond rate of 150?
You are asking for last problems of the homework, I guess.
We just use that interest rate instead of the track rate and stuff.
You get paid this 150, okay? And then you put it on another account. Then you should use whatever is the interest rate for that account. That was the question. You get paid, for example, $150, and you invest it in another account, in another deposits account, which pays some different interest rate. Because I'm not sure, I don't recall the problem exactly, but I think that was the problem. You get paid on the bond, and you invest that money in another account. So that's gonna make the problem more complicated, but just don't get lost. First find this, then deposit this in the account. Now time of 0 is gonna be for that account is gonna be here, 150. And then see for how many years you are gonna keep this money in the account. For example, this is 40. So 0 through 39. So for this one, you keep it for 39 periods of time. Find its future value. Do the same thing for the second one.
And the question just asked for future values, and then go back.
After you find the future value for that, as I explained, back to the find the present value and compare with the bond. We can talk about that after the class if you want. All right. Any other question on this? All right. Let's start chapter 6, which is annual cash flow analysis. When you want to do the economic analysis of a project, or if you want to compare the alternatives, if you remember, we are going to have 3 different approaches. One is net present worth, this we covered in chapter 5. Net present worth analysis, you are given with 2 or more alternatives, or you want to do economic analysis of a project. You calculate, you find the equivalent, or you compare the alternatives based on their net present worth. You move everything to the present time and then compare the value at the present time. Second approach is annual cash flow analysis. If you are given with something like this, you find its equivalent annual cash flow. You are given with this, you find its equivalent as annual cash flow, and then compare this with the other alternatives. So first approach, you find the present worth, you find the equivalent value of the cash flow diagram at the present time. For this approach, you just find the annual cash flow. So you are going to find A. It's going to be, there are three terms it's going to show up. EUAW, equivalent uniform annual worth. EUAB, equivalent uniform annual benefit. And EUAC, which is going to be equivalent uniform annual cost. If you break these to two parts, you are going to have cost P plus benefit. So this is cost, this is benefit. You find its equivalent uniform annual A1 and we call it equivalent uniform annual cost, and this is benefit because it's kind of income or receipt of the money. You find it as an equivalent uniform annual payments, so it's going to be A2. And equivalent uniform annual worth would be A2 minus A1. Just EUAB minus EUAC. This is the idea. The rest of the chapter, just some points that you should keep. You should use it in the calculation. But this is the idea of the chapter 6. Any question on this? You find the equivalent uniform annual cost, you find the equivalent uniform annual benefit, find the equivalent uniform annual worth, and then compare this with for the alternatives. So the student purchased the furniture at the price of $1,000. So the useful life for the furniture is 10 years, and it's going to be sold for $200 after 10 years. What would be the equivalent annual cost? So 0, 10, 1,000 here. It can be sold at $200 10 years from now. So we don't have, it's kind of cost. We don't consider salvage as an actual benefit, so I'm just using the EUAC and then subtract this 200 at the end because I want to have the positive number. If you don't want, you can use this as a negative and this as a positive, and you come up with the negative number. But in the problem with no real benefit, we prefer to use only EUAC, not EUAB and EUAW. So 1,000 has, what would be equivalent uniform annual cost for 1,000? A1 would be present value is given. We are looking for A. So A over PI is, yeah, it should be given. 7% for 10 years. This is A1. And what would be this $200?
Where do you get the 7% from?
It's given, it should be given because we should know how much would be the time value of the money. $200, what would be its equivalent? Since we are gonna use the positive number for the cost, I subtract this. What would be the A2? A2 would be, this one is future value, so F times, we are looking for A when F is given. So A over F, 7%, 10 years. The equivalent uniform annual cost for this furniture is almost $128 per year at the interest rate of 7%. In this chapter, we are using our knowledge that we have learned on chapter 3 and 4. Any question on this?
So should we never turn salvage prices into series of payments for this kind of analysis?
See, if you have only cost, the major things here is cost. So you can, if you can treat this as benefit and say what would be A2, whatever is that, EUAB minus EUAC. Then you are going to end up to negative 127.92. Yeah, and just switch these two. The point, my point is, I know that the cost is always negative, but if your alternatives have only cost, which is here, just one salvage value, which small benefit. If you don't want to work with the negative numbers, use a positive sign for the cost. But again, you can use the other, right, and you get the negative value for EUA value. So these are the maintenance costs over the 5 years. Year 1, year 2, year 3, and 4, and 5. You are given with them. As you see, we only have cost, so we don't have EUAB, equivalent uniform annual benefit. So EUAB is 0. We don't have any benefit. We are looking for EUAC. What would be equivalent uniform annual cost per year? I know that the arrow should go down, just think the arrow is going down, so it's going to be 45. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 90, 180, 225. So we would like to find its equivalent uniform annual cost. What would be the A, which makes these two equivalent? As you see, there is no pattern that I can find here, at least at the moment. The difference between these two is 45. Here is 90. It's decreasing by 45, then it's increasing by $90. So if I couldn't find any pattern or a standard form of the payment, what I can do, I can find the net present, I can find the present force of this. So find the present force of this. Then A would be present worth times you are looking for A when present value is given, I is 7% and N is 5. This is the idea there. How can we find present worth after cost? It's a single payment. It has 1 year distance from present time. So use P over F, 7%, 1 year. This one has 2 years. This one has 3. The 135 is 4, and last one is 5 years. The present worth is 531. So this maintenance cost is gonna cost us $135 every year for 5 years. At the interest rate of 7%. As you see, if I change 7%, this is gonna change. 130, not 135, sorry. Any question on this? I'm just, again, showing you the different types of the problems that you might see. So if I just switch these two, if I'm given with this maintenance cost, then you have something which is familiar. So the difference between these two is $45, $45 and $45. So it's kind of arithmetic gradient. Tells me again, we don't have benefit, we just have UAC. So I'll break these to two cash flow diagrams. One is uniform series of the payment with the value of 45, which is the first one. Second one is whatever left. For the first year, 45, I already have 45, I should put 0. Second year is $90, I already covered 45, I add $145. Third year, 135 minus 45, 90, 135 and 18. Now, if you look at this, it's starting from second year, and it's increasing at this rate, $45. So it's arithmetic gradients. So EUAC would be EUAC1 plus EUAC2. What would be equivalent uniform annual cost for the first cash flow diagram? It's 45. I don't need to change this because it's already in a form of uniform annual payment. For the second one, what would be the equivalent uniform annual cost? I'm looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of A2. I'm looking for A2, and A2 when G is given, G is 45. If you remember, it was G times, I'm looking for A when G is given, interest rate is 7%, and N is 5. A2 would be 45 times this factor. Either use the book or the equation. You will figure out 84. $129. So this is gonna have equivalent uniform annual cost of $129 compared to $130. Any question on this? These are there are two devices. The device A, if you buy it at the price of $1,000, the benefit that you will get by saving the money is going to be $300 per year for 5 years. Second one, you pay more. It's going to have the same useful life, which is 5, but the amount of money that you will get, it's going to be different over the next 5 years. So the question is, which device should be purchased? So here we have cost as well as benefit. So we are using the EUAW. So for device A, it's going to be EUA benefit minus EUA C, which is cost. EUAB for device A, the benefit for the device A, it's a uniform phase of the payment. I don't need to do anything. It's going to be 300. But EUA cost, I have $1,000. What would be the A1 when P is given? We are looking for A1, which is EUAC, P times A over P, interest rate is 7% and is 5. $243.9. So for EUAW, it's going to be negative 24, not negative. Benefit is 300 minus 243.9 is going to be almost $56. Device A has EUAW equal to 56. It means the equivalent uniform annual worth of this is positive $56. Use the same thing for device B. I just did it in the previous example. The difference between them is 50. So you break it to two cash flow diagram. $300 plus $100, 150, and 200. Uniform size of the payments. The benefit for device fee is 300 plus. It's a arithmetic gradient. You are looking for A when G is given. $300 plus this, the cost do the same thing that I did here with the value of 1350 and get 64. 64 is greater than 56, so you pick device B. All right, I will stop at this slide. I will post the homeworks today, but some of the homework problems you may wait until Monday that I cover those topics. If you have your homework, I will collect it.
Just wear them when I go to sleep.
They say your odds are getting worse.
I would like
Well, no, because it just puts more money in the hole than going to change your odds.
well, if you go to different places, you can, I don't know, there's some.
Carl, I'm pretty sure you just
bet on average.
use everything.
You want to go to Turning Stone? Nah, go to Seneca.
I could have
Oh. Turning Stone's all the way up in Wait, where do you live?
So it's increasing at the rate of 200. You calculate this. So when you want to find the relative cost of the case, so you can break it to the uniform series and arithmetic gradient. But you need to know one interest rate to find the present force of that. The present force is 25%.
Okay.
So first year later cost do the same thing for the 116,000. It's increasing at the interest at the rate of 4% starting geometry gradient. Then you have to find the present force, but you need to know what would be the time value of the number is 25%. And salvage value as well.
Okay.
Does it make sense?
Yep. Can I just?
Sure, later.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, sir.
How to employees from the base value
You,
Since I got it.
95?
Yes.
Okay. So when I'm asking for, when it's asking for the box price, it wants to know what would be the net present force of this box. How much it's gonna worth at the present time if you want to pay for it.
Okay, so could you just pay, could you just pay, the $1,000, and if we finally decide how much you get each year, then
Each
just
year.
bring all that into the business with a 2% interest rate?
Yes, yep,
All right.
yep. It means the money that you will get for this bond, it's gonna worth this amount today. So, and you don't want to pay more than that.
Okay. So,
So how much is gonna worth, how much you get paid? You get paid this amount over there.
So it's not asking how much you're buying it for, it's asking
It's,
how much
they're the
it's
same.
worth.
It means you are not gonna pay more than this. It means
okay.
the price should be this. What should be the price means
Okay, so the price,
Oh.
You don't set the price, but
yeah,
what should be the price?
but if you buy it, it should be less than whatever you calculate.
Yes.
Okay.
Or maximum it should be at that.
Yeah.
So it's come to the price of the car. From your point of view, they set the price by themselves,
Okay, gotcha.
the seller. You are a buyer, what should be the price?
Okay, and so it'd be set up with like,
How many terms do we have?
it is 10 years.
Semi-annual is for 20. So 120. The amount of the money that you get paid, was it 6%?
4%.
Okay. So 4% divided by 2 is 2%.
Yeah.
Face value was 1,000.
Yep.
So it's coming to $20. Okay. And then find the benefits value at the present time with the interest rate of 2%.
Yeah.
Semi-annually, was it semi-annually or it's?
Yeah, so yeah.
Okay, so you don't need to, you just need to divide it by 2, which is 1%. Because the period of time is semi-annual.
Okay, understood.
Make sense?
Yeah, we turned it in.
Sure, sure, no problem.
Thank you.
Did you hear that? The test?
No, I'm gonna hand it, Margaret.
Okay, okay, cool. Thank you again.
Could we meet with you later?
Yeah, sure.
You guys are stock market.
Second one, second to last one, yeah.
You want later?
Wait, what was the answer?
I'll go to my office, you can stop.
We got it.
Even if I don't know.
Basically, it's asking how much,
I figured out what the net credit worth is.
like how much money
That's it, that's in present, like,
Yeah.
so basically, it's just
It's
gonna cost less
calculated-
than whatever you get.
calculate how much money.
It has to be less than that.
How much to pay.
That's like the maximum cost that it could be.
Oh, okay, so what is the reason for that? You have to think about it. That's what Okay, no, I just want to know if there is any specific. Okay, so you don't think you can catch up with it? Okay. Do you have any?
Is that the only one we have? Is this the only question you have? Like number 7? Like the only one you guys have to answer?
Which course you want to?
Yeah.
Are you just doing it now, right?
Did you talk to the,
Yeah.
can we add it right now? Did you fill out the name of the course? Should I sign it for? Do you know the name of the course? Did you talk to the instructor or you didn't? So, do you remember what sort of type of
So you did it.
Do you mind me to sign it right now or you can? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be in my office, so, yeah, you have a class after that.
This class.
You can tell them. Okay. I mean,
Yeah, that's it.
sometimes, some students have some engineering statistics, so the topic is kind of challenging difficult, so I know, no, I know what's going on in the statistics, not how people should write it or understand, fully understand what's going on there.
Yeah, but that's. I want to see the primary because you one, 2 ways to go on.
You know, if you have no idea what's going on there, just waste of time, no. I know. How many credits do you have for if you drop this?
15 years, so I was
7, okay. It doesn't, okay. Yep.
Can we go over the last
Sure,
one?
sure.
Do you want to go back to your office first?
No.
Okay.
You can.
Because I don't have class for another hour.
That's
so
fine, no, I can.
whatever works for you.
Yeah. The last problem,
The last problem, the one involving the bond and the investment account.
so,
I was just.
do you now get a sense about the
Yeah, a
bond?
little bit better.
When I covered that, I did say in class, okay, it's a challenging one, just.
Yeah,
thought
no,
you
no,
were-
it'll work out. This is homework 6. This is going back. So this is 4.485, and the problem came off seeming like it was a geometric gradient. So I used the geometric gradient equation, but either I did something wrong or it just is that 485? Yeah.
Yes.
So for 485, it's he invests a fixed percentage of his salary at the end of each year. This year he invested 1,500. For the next 5 years, he expects his salary to increase 8%,
I know,
and then
yes.
he plans to increase his savings at the same rate.
Yes.
So how much will the investment be at the end of 6 years if the average increase in the stock market? So because would his investment, since his salary is increasing 8%, he plans to increase his savings at the same rate, would you just give 8% to that 15%? So you're high. So
So basically, the information that you are given here, it tells you what would be the time value of the money, or what would be the I that you need to calculate
Okay.
to find the future value
So then
or the present value.
the G is given as 8%.
And I is varying
And I varies.
Okay, no.
8%, 5%.
So then
2%.
Oh, that's why I didn't know that. Because I saw for 5 years, I did it for 5 years instead of 6 years. Okay, that answers that question. That was.
Okay, just so I'm making sure I'm getting this right. For when you're doing the annual benefit, you would use the coupon rate for this factor. Then you, for $1,000 behind, you
No,
use
no,
market
no.
rate of benefit.
No. The coupon rate is set by the seller. It says we are gonna pay you this amount. It doesn't deal with the time value of the money. Okay? Okay. Time value of the money, it means how much money is gonna have value over the time.
Okay.
So you should look at your minimum attractive rate of return or what's gonna, market is gonna pay you.
Okay, so we would only use the market for this
Yes.
one as well? Okay.
This is only to calculate how much you get paid
Oh.
every 6 months.
Okay.
It doesn't show the time
It
value.
has
of the
nothing to do with the time.
Yes,
value.
no,
Okay.
time value of the money is set either by yourself.
That's just set by the bond.
Yes,
just for
the seller says,
annual-
I pay you this, okay. You pay this, but I have the different, value for the time value of the money. Or the market has different value. So
Okay.
it might be the same, but it might be different.
That makes sense.
Okay, you.
I have the same question.
Man, because I.
Yep.
This is what you do, but doing it just because the non-interest rate has nothing to do with the time.
Oh, so look at that.
So you only use the market value.
You have the charts, and this is-
I have.
That makes sense. With the second sheet on this, we do have 1% contribution. We have BT on.
Okay, so this is basically saying that should bonds interest payment being invested.
The bank.
So basically, what this is saying is you buy this bond, and then you get the interest from the bond, and you reinvest.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
Okay. So and then it's saying or should be.
Just put the
entire
money
use. Okay.
from the same day to that.
So. everything is annually, right?
Everything is,
Everything is, so it just says a 12% bond is offered for this month. Are we assuming that it is annual? Or does it say?
yes, it
Okay.
doesn't say anything in this annual.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, yes, so sorry.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Thank you.
Sure.
Have a great day.
You too. We are working on the last problem.
I figured it out.
Okay.
Yeah. That's fine.
Sure.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe it's wrong.
Nine.
What class do you have?
What's up?
What class are you in next? Is that ceramics or something?
Super glass.
Class.
Big glass, and yours is here today.
So our papers have to be like minutes or not? Right? Yeah. Mine was good. Yours.
I think, I don't know if he's doing it, I can check there now. Do Thursday at, it's pretty. So we should do it that.
Okay, I can do that. I've got like the background, and like those definitions, that's it. Oh, our comp statement too.
I'm just trying to like elaborate on the definitions that they're all here together right now into one document.
Your manager.
And then, one more to them on it now.
Alright, so is that the correct way to get the bank's value? Because you're looking at, you invest your 11,000, then you get 8%, 8%, 8%, 8%, 10%. And then so your final value would be, so you do your 11,000, future present, 8% for 4 years, and then you multiply that value, because that brings you to the value of 44 times your future over present times 10% times 5.
Yes, perfect.
Okay, so that gives you your bank value,
Yeah.
your future bank value.
Now, if the bond is gonna worth more than this, it will be fine. If-
Okay, so now for bond, we have, so it's 12% maturing in 9 years, so you're gonna get, so it's 10,000, so your interest on the bond, interest is going to be 10,000 times your 12%.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be
So far.
to 1,200, wow, it's a very high.
Yeah, yeah.
1,200 per year. So you basically have a so you have a $11,000 investment.
Yeah.
Got each of these are 1,200. It's 1,200. And at the end you also get to 10,000. So if we want to find future value, our future value would be 10,000.
Yeah.
10,000 plus you're gonna have to do 1,200 F
is the challenge.
Okay, so you have to do it at the banks. Okay, so you do it at the bank's 8% for 4 years. And then you have to multiply that by future or present. So, and then it would be, then you have that chunk value 10%. 5 years. And then you have to do plus 1,200 times F over A 10% for 5 years. Right?
Let's see. All right. For the first 4 years, you get paid how many?
8%.
8%. Okay. If you look at this, just single payment.
Yes.
It looks like we have uniform size of the payment, but since the interest rate is different, I'm looking at them as an individual.
Oh, so can you treat it like 2 different uniform sets of payments? Like, so treat those first 4 whether you're getting your 8%?
First, for the first 4 years.
Yep, you get 8%.
So first 4 years, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year.
Oh, so it'd be 3 years.
I mean, I'm just saying that we cannot do that because,
Okay.
hold on.
We can't treat those first 4 years as a uniform series. So basically treat first 4 years as a uniform series at 8%. So 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Let me forget about this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you are saying that treat this 4 or this 4?
The actual numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4.
1,
So,
2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, because you've got in this section, do an extra step. So in this whole section, you've got your 8% rate. And then in this section, you've got your 10% rate. So could you take these 4 and just say 1,200 times your F over A, 8% for 4 years. So then that would bring you your value of these at year 4. And then could you do F over P for the remaining for 10% for 5 years, and then you do another section of uniform payments for 5 through 9, or would that not work?
No, because I'm saying why we cannot do that.
Okay.
The bank is gonna pay you 8% for the first 4 years.
Yes.
So you deposit this.
Oh, so you're not going to get 8% on that market?
Yeah, first of all, it's not
Okay.
it's not all. You deposit this for
Yep.
the first 4 years, 1, 2, 3, 4. You get paid 8%. Okay? Just for this one.
Okay.
You get paid. You get paid 8%. Then you have this value here. For the rest of the years, 1, 2, 3, 4, you get paid 9%. 10%. Fine.
Okay.
I'm just talking about this.
Okay, then I messed up on the bank one.
No, not for the bank, because bank has one.
Oh,
one
it's,
value.
yes, yeah, okay, yeah.
The first 4 years, you are right.
Okay.
Since we have different values, I mean not different value, some value over the years of time, we
Yep.
cannot treat them as a uniform series of them. Now look at the second payment. It's 1,200
Yep.
for the first 4 years. 1 year, 2, 3, 4. Okay. You should use 8%.
Wait, whoa,
And then for 1, 2, 3.
whoa.
First 4 years. What?
But wouldn't it be the first 4 years of this 9-year
No.
period? It wouldn't be the first 4 years.
If any money that you put for the first 4 years, you get paid 8%. And if you keep it
Oh,
more,
that's really weird.
you get paid. Yeah. This is.
Wait, but so why does that change by, I would think like if your bank's, cause say you're putting this into an account, wouldn't that account, it would be the account itself that's getting 8% for the first 4 years, and then 10% thereafter, right? It wouldn't change by your deposit, or does it?
It does, because the more you keep your money, you will get more interest. This is the policy, I mean, this is the
Okay, so we
strategy
should,
of the bank.
we shouldn't think about this as like an account, we should think of this like a CD or something.
Yeah,
Okay, so you're actually putting it into a CD, not like an account.
yeah.
Okay. That's still so.
Then you put this 1,200, if you keep it for 4 years, you will reach to year 6. And for the 1 to 3 years, you get paid 10%. Number 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. It brings you to year 7 by 8%, and from year to year, you get paid 10%. It's the reason that I'm saying you cannot use the uniform size of the payment.
Okay. So basically we have to do 8.
Yeah.
I gotta read that.
Okay, so,
Do you want to have yours?
Yes.
If you want, I mean.
alright, so let me just,
Yeah,
so basically, since you get paid 1,200 on that last year and the 10,000, so your future value would be 10,000 plus 1,200. And then that takes care of each
Yes,
year,
yes.
and then you're gonna have to do,
The rest.
okay, so then.
Sorry, for example, for this one, it's only get 8%. This
Okay.
one 8% for 2 years.
Okay, so
This
then,
one and this one.
so the first one would be 1,200 times F over P, 8% for 4 years. And then you multiply it again, F over P. So that would bring you 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So then 10% for 4 years.